What's the crack? I thought we'd start with that. Welcome to PGI. We're here with Brendan Greene, our PLAYERUNKNOwn.
How are you?
What's the story with you? Right, so I heard you were from Ireland a few years ago and I was like, what? Someone from Ireland actually making games? Like, how did you get started in all this? Like, first of all, how did you start gaming?
Well, I really wasn't a massive gamer at all. I mean, I played some games in my free time, but like I was a DJ, I was a photographer and a designer, so that's kind of what took up most of my life. And I moved to Brazil, where I really was pursuing photography full time, and I played the occasional game. And then discovered the DayZ mod on Arma 2 and fell in love with that, and just that idea that there were no rules, it was just the rules of the game and there was no storyline, you just did whatever you want. I fell in love with that kind of idea, so that's how I kind of got back into gaming.
All right, I want to move on to what do you do in your spare time when you're not working all the time, probably?
Sleeping. No, I mean, most of my time nowadays is spent doing a lot of traveling. Like I do a lot of PR work and face of the game stuff. Because I travel so much, you know, you don't really, like the free time you do get, you just want to relax, be at home. You know, I'm in the process of kind of setting up an apartment in Amsterdam, so it's like furnishing that, so my free time spent furniture shopping and all this kind of stuff. So
all this adult stuff.
Yeah, no, I have to adult. Like I have a kid now in high school or you know, secondary school, so like I am officially an adult, right?
Oh dear.
Yeah. Fucking pension.
No time for gaming at all.
I mean, this is it. Like you ask most people in gaming how much they get to game, and like those that make games are like very little time because most of the time is spent making the game or looking at charts or analytics and stuff. So, but when I do get to game, I try to sneak in a few hours every day, but it's tough.
I want to ask you about the transition. Like you moved to Korea when this first all started off.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a big culture difference, right? Like it's totally different over there. There's all these mad rules and all this kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, in gaming it's not so much. Because I read a lot about like the cultural stuff before I went there.
So you did your homework, right?
Yeah, just so I wouldn't offend people. You know, there's stuff like sticking your chopsticks into your rice is just seen as a bad thing because it's what they do in like a death ceremony for the dead person they put. So you don't so you leave your chopsticks on the side. So little things, but I mean, it's not that it's like, you know, you wouldn't be chastised on that, but I just let little things. But in gaming, it's much more relaxed, you know, even internally in PUBG Corp, you know, in Korea in general, you have this, like, the way you address someone. So I would be Brendan Nim or Brendan She, like this ending thing depends on your seniority. Whereas internally in PUBG, our CEO said to us, no, everyone is she. You know, everyone is the same level. That, you know, there is none of this kind of. So in gaming, it's a little bit more chill than in other, like some of the bigger sort of Korean companies.
What's the most surreal experience you've had since the development of PUBG, like with the game?
Just traveling and still it's surreal to me to meet fans that are shaking. Like there's a lovely girl downstairs that I met that she had been waiting for me to arrive so she got a picture with me, and she had been telling the bouncers and everyone who I was, and like I said hello to her, and you know, she was literally shaking, and I meet fans like that all the time, and that to me is surreal because like I'm only me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're just a lad, like,
right?
Yeah,
this is it. Like, I mean, I don't see myself as this kind of, you know,
yeah,
the same way other people might see me. But it's nice, and this is why I travel so much, because I really want to give fans the chance to come and say hi, because it means the world to them. So, you know, if it means me hopping on a plane, that's fine.
As a developer, you're quite public, right? You like saying what you think, and a lot of other developers, you know, say for example Valve, like IceFrog, he's kind of like a similar role to you, you know. They take a step back. What are like the positives and negatives that come from this?
Positives? Oh no, I mean, I like being, like, I come from the community, you know. I was a player that now happens to make a game, and I, you know, I want to be open with the community. You know, it's been harder lately because, you know, you're never sure what to share because there's such a huge player base that, you know, that you can affect things by things you say. So I've had to really kind of start watching myself now that I'm a public figure, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, in general, I mean, I like being able to talk. I like having an opinion, you know, and I don't think that's going to change.
Good.
Yeah.
I like the truth.
But yeah, the negative, I mean, I get a lot of hate, but you know, that's the internet.
What are the most difficult challenges you'd have to face in the development of PUBG? Like what was...
Oh, just scaling. Like we thought we would have 1 million CCU. That's our peak, that's what we thought. When we hit 3, it was just like, we had to rewrite our backend server architecture, you know, because it was meant to handle like peak CCU of 1 million, and we had 2 after 6 months. So, you know, it's been crazy, but now it's starting to level out again. And no, it's the biggest challenge was the scaling, and it was like having to grow a team to support a global, because we thought, okay, it might be popular in one region, but it was popular worldwide. So that's why we now have like offices in Santa Monica and Amsterdam and Tokyo and Singapore, and basically like we're opening more offices like all over the world just to support this globally.
It's not the worst of problems.
It really isn't.
No.
I mean, we've had some slip-ups along the way. Like at the moment, we're refactoring a lot of the code to try to, peel off some of the band-aids we had to fix and try to do it properly. But, this breaks stuff and you get like development issues. But, we have a long-term plan here. We're just trying to slowly optimize and really try to improve the game. But in order to do that, we sometimes break the game because, just refactoring, it's the way it works.
Yeah, there's something you just don't think about it and change this one thing and change this something.
Oh yeah,
random.
this is it. Like you fix one thing and it breaks 20 others. It's a way of development, and Unreal, while it's a great engine, it is like it's a spaghetti code sometimes. So trying to unknot that and really try to is where half our work is.
What do you see as the future for PUBG as an esport?
I want to say, as I said, like this PGI is like, it's where I always imagined the Battle Royale, way back, that I thought it would be great in a stadium. It's great spectacle having all these teams fight against each other. And, instead of just 2 teams of 5, you've got multiple teams. And I think that creates a great spectacle. So that's where I want to see it go. I want to see it like this year, we really want to focus on kind of stabilizing and making the game solid, right? Like it's not there yet. It's not esports ready. The only people that say it's esports ready are the fans. And I love that, but it's not there yet. Most esports take years to get off the ground. So this year we really want to focus on kind of stabilizing what we have, right? And then maybe next year we'll look at, expanding kind of the esports infrastructure. But for us, it's more important to get the game stable than anything else. One
thing I noticed about the players, they're all kind of in it together. In most esports, like the players, they stick in their little teams. After the games, they go off with their teams. In PUBG, they all just come together, have a chat, laugh about the game. They're very like all-inclusive.
I think so. I think it's the way of the game, because it's like with games like CS and even League and stuff like that, they're very tactical and very like you have your tactics and stuff like that. And with PUBG, it's like you have your tactics, but they're going to change on a game-to-game basis. So I think you can be a little freer with information, and you can have that friendliness with your team. But also, I think the Battle Royale community in general is very close. Like all the way from the Arma mods through H1 and into PUBG, like they're a very close community, and they only want the best for like Battle Royale as an esport. So I think that's why you see this really big sense of like we're all growing here and we're all in this together, rather than it's rather than some of the other ones.
I like that. The attitude of the players is something beautiful, actually. It's very cool.
Yeah, no, I love seeing, like, as I said, like the community, while, they may throw a lot of hate at me, I love them to bits because they're really passionate. Like, even with that hate, it's like, they care about the game, and that's super important.
Yeah, with every bit of hate, there's a grain of love as well, right?
Oh, there is. I mean, but I mean, you have to recognize that a lot of the hate is like bandwagoning. It really, like, I mean, I see some of it, and yes, there's some very valid negative comments, but a lot of it is like, and I read some of it, it's like, that's not even close to what actually happened, the amount of like, myth and magic that's out there and all this kind of stuff. And you look at it and go, but like if you spent 2 minutes reading, you'd realize that isn't what's happening at all. But what can you do? It's the internet.
Do you have a favorite comment maybe? Like of something's been said and you're like, this is actually hilarious. Like I know me.
Oh no, the fact that I have a yacht and that I don't work anymore and that I'm, this is like, I'm just enjoying my bags of cash and stuff like that. And it's like, I get on my yacht or my bike every morning.
I did see you pull up in a yacht actually.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We drilled our own canal into the centre of Leicester.
Just PUBG things.
Yeah, no, right. No, but I get my bike every morning. I cycle to work. It's like I travel a lot, sure, but I'm in work most days, and that's what I think most people don't realize is like I'm not some flitting away with all my cash. It's like I work every day from like 9 in the morning to 6 in the evening, if not longer. And I travel a whole lot, which it sounds like fun, but like when you're city hopping, in the case of a week, it gets a little tiring.
I'd say so.
But listen, as I said, I love doing it. Meeting the fans, it takes the sting out of it completely, and seeing the passion that the players and the fans have at all these locations is great.
Yeah, I'd say when you get to the airport, you're like, oh God, and then the second you get to the event or you see someone
right.
smiles,
I mean, I mean, I'm not going to complain. It's a terrible problem to have, but I'm not going to complain about it.
Well, thank you very much.
No, that was fun.
I appreciate it. Cheers, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See you later. Cheers, boss.
Why do I do that? That's stupid. Please don't.
We can do it again.
No.
No, we can't. We're probably going to do that too.